Now joining me, one of the best postseason pitchers of all time, and now after his career, he is now a superstar in the video game industry for Studios 38, and that's Curt Schilling. Curt, Zach Gelb here, DARPATV.com. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm not a superstar yet.
You're a stud.
And no, let me be clear. If this game goes huge and like we believe it will have almost nothing to do with me from a creative perspective. I've got incredibly talented people that have made this game. It's coming out Tuesday, February 7th, and we're excited.
Well, I'm a big Xbox fan. I play Madden and all this stuff.
There's your advanced copy.
Thank you so much. Tell me a little bit about the game. What can I expect?
Yeah, so think Lord of the Rings, high fantasy kind of thing. But from a game perspective, think God of War meets Skyrim. God of War meets Skyrim Oblivion. So it's the first, I think, deep, multi-100-hour RPG with real, true, legitimate combat, fun, engaging combat, and that was one of our big differentiators. The combat in this game is you can two-button mash your whole way through and have fun. Or you can try and master the combat system, and there's a lot of depth to that, and it's something I've never seen in a single-player RPG before.
You're playing Nomar, you're playing Big Papi in this game? You're going to beat them on Xbox Live?
I'm going to beat them. It's not a co-op, it's not a multiplayer, it's not a competition thing. There are a lot of other products around the Amalur. Amalur is the universe the game is built in, and Reckoning is the first game. And also, you can find it at Reckoning.com.
Okay.
You can find out any information you want to know about it at Reckoning.com. We actually have a lot on launch day. We have about 14 of the largest streamers in the world, live streamers, that are going to be streaming live gameplay for 8 hours on Twitch TV. So we've got a lot of really cool PR stuff around the launch of the game. Now,
you sure your name's Curt Schilling, unlike Foster Carmona the other day?
Wow.
That his name just all of a sudden changes magically?
It's amazing what you find out about people, but that's an unfortunate thing. I hated to see that happen.
We can't talk to Curt Schilling without talking about the bloody sock. What was your thoughts going into that game, and how shocked were you with the results after that game finished?
My thoughts going in were I wanted to compete. I wasn't shocked at all after it because I expected that of myself. I just wanted a chance to compete. I came off of the first game of that series and couldn't pitch and couldn't contend and couldn't compete, and we got our butts kicked. And that was the series I was brought to Boston to pitch in, that Yankee-Red Sox playoff series. And it was an incredibly demoralizing time for me because I thought I was done. I didn't think I was going to be able to throw the ball again, and thankfully Dr. Morgan came up with this little Frankenstein gig, and we stitched it up and got after it, and we ended up winning the game. We're
talking to Curt Schilling. And Curt, I look at your career. You won 3 World Series championships. You were an MVP along with Randy Johnson back in '01. You won 3 World Series, Diamondbacks, and the Red Sox twice. What made you so good in the big game? Because you're one of the best postseason pitchers in my lifetime.
I just didn't believe that anybody could beat me in October. My preparation, the things that I did, I walked into October baseball and probably slept better before every postseason start than I ever did during the regular season because I knew I was prepared. I knew I'd done everything I could do. When you do things in life and you prepare as well as you can for them, generally you tend to sleep better at night. And I always put the time and effort in to be ready. And then I knew I was going to be something more. The adrenaline, the energy that comes with pitching in October, you can't get it in April to September. And I was terrified. I had an unbelievable fear of failure, but that was always a motivator for me. And for a lot of other guys, it's a paralyzer.
Steroids have been a big issue in this game, and I know your take on it. Barry Bonds, all these guys that we hear, they're going to be eligible in a few years. If you were voting, would you put them in the Hall of Fame? And as a former player, how ticked off are you that there's guys that cheated? You never cheated, but guys have cheated, and they had success in their career.
I wouldn't vote for them. I don't believe they belong in the Hall of Fame. I'm not ticked off at all. I'm done. I quit. I'm walked away. My time is over. I competed on an uneven playing field, and I still beat them, and I'm okay with that. Life is way too short, and there's way too much to enjoy to hate people or get mad at people over stuff you have no control over. To be honest with you, as a player rep and a member of the Players Union, I had every ounce of ability to stop it. If we chose to do that, we didn't. As players, we didn't stand up and say, fix it or change it, so it wasn't changed. It falls on us. It's the accountability thing, and that's the thing I'm going to have to walk away with. Because we didn't do that, I'll be forever associated with the steroid era, and that's not something I'm proud of.
Should these players' accolades, people that took steroids and got caught, should they be taken away, like Barry Bonds' home run record? Should there be an asterisk in the Hall of Fame?
I don't believe he has a home run record. I believe Roger Maris still holds the single-season home run record, and I would have no problem for them losing that. If you're caught once, you should lose it all. I mean, you know, people argue about when they did this and when they – I don't care. If they did it once, it's probably not the first time, probably not the last time. And so you don't know how much of it is tainted. So I don't have a problem with them getting rid of all of it. They're not going to do it. Baseball has never taken a legitimate stance on this stuff. and with the Pete Rose debacle hanging over us as well, I mean, I don't know where the game stands, but it's not going to be at a place until they get rid of all of it.
Were you ever tempted as a player to take steroids?
Never.
Anyone ever come up to you and say, take them?
I had some conversations towards the end of my career after my ankle surgery.
Okay.
Some people had mentioned it to me, around me, and about me, that it could have been a quicker way for me to get back and be better, a little bit better. I never really pursued it. I have a family history of heart disease and high blood pressure and not anything positive. In addition to being a fact I couldn't bring myself to do it, it probably wouldn't have been a very smart health thing for me to do either.
We're talking to Curt Schilling here on Radio Row in Indianapolis. The Patriots play the Giants this upcoming Sunday here on the Peerless Boilers set. Zach Gelb here. And Curt, Gronkowski, big ankle injury. How do you think he'll play on this upcoming Sunday? Who do you like in this game?
I don't know. There's the question that I have yet to be answered, which is there's two words they use with a high ankle sprain: stable and unstable. An unstable high ankle sprain is a kind of a catastrophic injury. There's surgery required, and I don't imagine he'd be on the field. My guess is that he doesn't have that. He has a stable sprain, which I played with guys that had high ankle sprains. It's an excruciatingly painful injury. The challenge is that there's no physical component. You can't see it. You don't swell. You don't bruise. So people kind of have a hard time believing that it exists. But the big problem for me is going to be halftime. Halftime at the Super Bowl is a 30 to 45-minute thing. If he goes out, gets hot, and plays, and then has to sit for 45 minutes, he could not be out on the second half. So I don't know. I wonder how serious it is. If it is very serious, I don't believe he'll be able to be himself, but I'm not led to believe it is yet.
Last one for me. You played with Terry Francona in both Philadelphia and Boston. He ended his managing career in a bad way with the whole thing that happened with the alcohol in the locker room and the fried chicken. Now Bobby V is coming into Boston. Compare those two managers. What are some similarities? What are some differences?
Well, there are no similarities outside of their love and passion for the game. They're just very different people. Terry got fired for the same reason we won the World Series. He was the guy that allowed us to police ourselves in the clubhouse, and the players stopped listening to him, which is sad and tragic. Bobby is different. Bobby is an extrovert. And I was not a Bobby V fan when he was in New York with the Mets, but then I had a chance to work with him this year on ESPN and got to know him and a little bit more. And I love the guy. He's a lifer. He's a hardcore, passionate fan who I think he's matured a lot. I think he's learned. He went through the Mets collapse in New York, and the problem is going to be that's going to be his job starting out here this year. He's not going to be answering questions in spring training about his pitching rotation and his defense. It's going to be about last year, what it means, and the quicker he gets through that, the better for everybody.
I see that World Series championship ring right there.
Yep.
Nice stuff. That must make you proud when you wear that.
Thank you. I'm proud for having all three, and it's something I'm proud of when I look back on my career.
Reckoning is the name of the game. Tell me a little bit more about it one more time here on the way
Reckoning.com. You can find out all you need to know at Reckoning.com. Big day today. IGN is getting ready to release their first review of the product, which is a very important deal for us, and we're waiting on that to happen, as well as the release on Tuesday night.
Curt, thanks so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.